Hey, it's Rachel Cooke, your modern mentor. I'm the founder of Lead Above Noise, where we help leaders amplify performance, dial back burnout, and lead through change that never lets us catch our breath. If your organization or team is in need of skills, tools, or advice on making any of these happen, please reach out today. Find out more about me at leadabovenoise.com. And if Modern Mentor has sparked something for you, helped you show up differently, or even just helped you feel a little less alone in the workplace, I'd be so grateful if you left a quick rating or review in your podcast app. It helps others find the show, and I'd appreciate it. Okay, on to today's episode. So, how are things for you at work these days? If I were to guess, I'd say you've had something undesirable to deal with in recent months. Maybe you've witnessed layoffs, or hiring freeze, or a reorg, or you've lost important customers. Things have been a little weird lately. There's a lot of uncertainty, politically, economically, and my clients in nearly every industry are just wading through some stuff that gets 0 stars on Yelp. And yet, we've got to keep going. We've got to keep leading our teams through whatever is coming at us. So today, I want to talk about how we can get through this season of unpleasantness. Not with magic, but maybe with some clarity and a little bit of dignity and grace. Whether you're a leader of a team or function or even just yourself, there's something in here for you. So first, let's begin with some confrontation. I'm not talking about fisticuffs here. I mean, confront the reality of the change head on. Most of the leaders I work with are pretty excellent people, which is awesome. But the downside is they really hate disappointing their teams. They don't want to be the bringers of bad news. So, with only the best of intentions, they tend to soften hard messages, sometimes even in subtle ways. Like maybe they've caught wind that a reduction in force is coming, and rather than saying, in the next 3 months, we're likely to see about 15% of product and marketing let go, they may say something more like, hey, in the coming months, leadership may be inspecting our work more closely, so let's make sure to really double-check our efforts. In the latter version, they're not lying. They're just avoiding saying the hard thing because they don't want to scare their team members. But by taking this approach, they're actually prohibiting their team members from having the time to prepare and to process. I really do believe intentions are good, but if there is a hard truth heading your way, begin by looking it in the eye and trusting your team or yourself to handle it as the adults that you are. Deliver it with candor and compassion, even if it feels hard. Next, make space for dialogue. When hard truths land in our laps, sometimes we just need to talk about them, even if talking won't change anything. As a leader, your job is to set that expectation and then create that space. Bring your team together and say, listen, I know we're all anxious about the reorg that will move us from marketing into the customer acquisition world. We don't really know the leaders over there, and we'll have a ton to learn. I don't have answers, and I can't change our reality, but I just want to hear what's on your minds. Let's put our questions and anxieties on the table and just be ready to support each other. Change and uncertainty are inevitable these days. Success for you isn't about avoiding it, but helping to build trust and community with your team so they're able to navigate it together. So start here with no expectations of yourself or your team and just see where the conversation takes you. Next, note what's staying the same. In every season of change, no matter how sweeping or dramatic, something will be staying the same. One client of mine, for example, recently underwent a major shift, going from 5 separate brands into a singular corporate structure. Functions everywhere were merging, brand names were disappearing, and it was kind of chaotic. At first, the leaders were just watching chaos and panic play out. But after a beat, they brought their teams together to remind them of some of the things that would stay the same, that everyone could count on no matter what else shifted. Like their tools and technology, like their customer service protocols, like their hiring process, their performance management process, their values, and on and on. Just being reminded of the things we can continue to count on in the face of what may feel like chaos can be very grounding. It helps drive a sense of continuity, reminding people what they can continue to trust. Next, invite heroics. Like, no capes required, but some people respond best to change when they feel like they can take control of something. So where are members of your team wanting to dive in and help? Let them and cheer them on. Maybe someone wants to volunteer to take all the disparate bits of information and create a clear and singular timeline of events everyone can follow. Or someone else wants to take the lead on putting together some FAQs. Maybe someone wants to really learn the new tech platform you're moving to, and then they'll host a lunch and learn to teach the rest of the team the basics. The point here is this. Just because you're the leader doesn't mean that you personally need to lead each individual effort. Where members of your team see something that interests them and can benefit their colleagues, let them lean into it. And finally, seek and celebrate wins. So there's this book I read a few years ago that has really stayed with me. It's called The Gap and the Gain by Dan Sullivan and Dr. Benjamin Hardy. I highly recommend it if you tend toward the cynical, as I can definitely do. At a very high level, the premise is this. When you're ambitious and you're heading towards a goal, you start moving towards a finish line. And it's totally natural to always be looking at the distance that remains between where you're standing and where you're striving to be. This is the gap. But to be your most successful, it is really important to pause, often, and look behind you at the distance you've already traveled. Because the more we do this, the more we remind ourselves that we're capable of success. This is your gain. And the more we do that, success can teach us how to have even more success. And this is something essential for a leader to do in the context of a difficult change. Like maybe you need your team to fully integrate into a different part of the organization due to a reorg. But don't wait until that feels complete. The first time you see a team member grabbing coffee from someone from that other team, let them know you've seen it and that you're delighted. Whatever your finish line looks like, don't wait until you cross it before you celebrate. Help your team and yourself to see the victories, even the tiny ones along the way. Because then, all they need to do is do that again. And hey, this is a tricky season, and you don't have to go it alone. If I can help you through a complex change in some way, don't be shy. Reach out anytime at rachel@leadabovenoise.com. Join me next week for another great episode of Modern Mentor. Until then, visit leadabovenoise.com. You can follow Modern Mentor on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen. Thanks so much for listening and have a successful week. Modern Mentor is a quick and dirty tips podcast. It's audio engineered by Dan Fauerbend. Our director of podcasts is Holly Hutchings. Our podcast and advertising operations specialist is Morgan Christensen. And our marketing contractor is Nathaniel Hoops.